Guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we will be continuing our alternate future of Europe series. And in today's video, the first thing that will happen is Finland invades Russia. How did they invade Russia, you may be saying? You may be wondering, you may be thinking, I don't know what you're doing in your head, but you're doing something, I gather. But yes. And let's see the Finnish invasion before we see Russia's reaction. As Finland was not supposed to do this, I guess. Or were they? Something. Alan somehow became independent, but yeah, let's continue. As Finland heard bad news happening from here, they had to react as they made an invasion, quickly taking the capital as the Estonian people fight alongside Finland. As Finland is trying to re-liberate them, Russia's counter-offensive has officially began in the Finno-Russia War, which will eventually become a much bigger war. If Russia being told not to dare to invade Finland, or they will face consequences like they've never seen before. Like the world has never seen before. But quickly they move into southern Finland. And Russia makes a landing up here. This eventually evolves into a full-blown war. As it goes from what they were calling a Finno-Russia War to the Second New Great Northern War. Which is what it gets called. Yeah. With escalations happening all over the world. With an escalation happening in Romania joining, France, Belgium, Norway, Lapland. But everybody's getting ready and the fighting hasn't really begun anywhere. Except on the Finland front. Which, yes, I just tried to write a name. But yeah, not really. Yeah, kinda did. Well, with the first fighting breaking out in Finland, Finland establishes a stalemate around here. How come Russia got so far so quick? Because Finland didn't expect a full-blown Russian invasion. They didn't expect Russia to be this strong. As Russia breaks the stalemate, and eventually Finland looks like this, with a bit of an incursion from here, with Norway making an invasion, as well as Lapland. Russia and Romania make an invasion of Hungary and Moldavia. As it seems that they're moving too fast, it eventually becomes... Moldavia eventually becomes... with it being realized that someone was ready. Which turns out to be Germany. As they move troops into Poland, which was taken by Russia in the First Great Northern War. Russia did not expect this big of a war. As this island is taken. Turns out this is where Germany ends up creating a stalemate as winter starts coming. With Finland preparing for this, they make an invasion right here. They cut the northern Russian forces off. And then they push them back. But they don't manage to kick them out of there, with the Lapland front collapsing in Finland's favor. With it being because Finland was preparing. And Finland starts an invasion of them. This invasion is for Sweden. With Denmark and Sweden starting their invasion, it seems inevitable the defeat in the Norway front. With it seeming the first invasions are up in what used to be Sweden here. As it looks like Sweden might be trying to reform Sweden-Norway. But let's see the French attack from the west. Well, they invade South Germany, because there's South Germany and North Germany. as we know. And the Netherlands falls, one of the first places to fall, followed by the rest of the Netherlands, but this is where stalemate's created, with the Hungary front continuing to worsen for Hungary until they get about where you'd expect them to be. And now Turkey starts their invasion in the south with a goal of defeating Russia. They're not ready for their planning of their amphibious landing in Crimea, but they're ready to move into the Caucasus Mountains. Somehow, they actually are doing good. As Russia didn't expect them to have got this strong, they move up and take Volgorod, which leads to the siege of South Russia, with a spearhead towards Baku, the capital, and some more movement. Eventually, a stalemate's established there. Germany makes a second offensive, which is to move deeper into the north, as the goal is to hopefully get Russia to start collapsing.
For Germany.
And it looks like Russia is not fighting so well, with Russia planning a counteroffensive up here, as it started to be winter again, and they didn't get as good of a defense in some areas as maybe Germany should have. Mostly the north, where they get pushed right back to the border. And then just because they make the front look like this. But while they were making this offensive, Hungary, with the help of Czechia, makes a counteroffensive against them. And Finland takes advantage and moves them back up here. But where they haven't succeeded is where Russia has very many forces. But Russia starts its next offensive, which has a goal of getting to here, which it makes to. Let's see, does it make to its goal here? Yep, it does. It succeeds fully in its front, but this is because Finland is focused on a different front and is still managing to hold them back, despite this being what they always have done. Russia still hasn't learned. Finland, don't mess around with Finland, I guess. They probably did in real world, but I hope. But yeah. Oslo falls, and so on, with the destruction of Norway. And then Norway eventually surrenders, as it has no point in fighting. And this is where Norway and Sweden send its troops to Germany. And Germany makes a counteroffensive. Well, North Germany, but I'm saying Germany because they're now getting their troops in the South Germany, so really it's Germany. In the Netherlands, which they're able to move back to about the Rhine River. And let's see how Turkey's doing. Well, Turkey struggled with its spearhead, with it being encircled, but the message is to these troops not to surrender, as eventually they'll be rescued. With a movement from the north in the Baku, they send a back offensive, which actually secures us, moves them down, and they continue towards Baku. They take the city, even though it's further south. They manage to take Tbilisi and Yerevan, with Russia still managing to hold on to the south, with their amphibious landing in Crimea being a big success, as they manage to move into Crimea and even move over here, which allows them to eventually create a supply line linking this up. Though not that strong, it's still a supply line. Let's see where Germany's northern offensive goes. Oh, actually, they do make a northern offensive. Despite looking like they're only fighting on one front, they're actually managing to pull off a two-front war. Well, it really is a three-front war, but with Hungary holding that. With the second offensive against France, bringing them down here. And over here, the front collapses, and then here. With Germany securing its front over there, with the help of Sweden, Norway, and the newly liberated Netherlands. They do this, and South Germany manages to take Baden back. Which basically, as you can tell, they move down to France's capital, Paris. France doesn't surrender, but they agree to a bit of a peace treaty, which I'll be back with. Taking lands. Most of Alsace-Lorraine is taken. Parts are taken by the Netherlands, and this is an occupation zone with a few thousand troops, like maybe 5,000 or 6,000. Now let's go back to the Eastern Front, because that's all that's left. Well, Russia also has the South Front, with Finland making a landing on these two islands and managing to invade Russia. The nation of the front continues, with Finland and Germany meeting up, with Estonia becoming part of the front, but Germany having to stop this movement as they need to secure fronts. With the final fall of these lands, and an offensive here, they make a big encirclement, which eventually starts to look like this, and then it looks like this, and then like this. With their offensive starting to move into Ukraine, with the goal of taking some southern lands and liberating Ukraine. Sounds pretty good of a plan. With Hungary launching its second offensive with the help of Czechia, they move Romania back to where it was. And Russia out, basically. And then this happens, and now they're ready for their next attack. With Russia thinking of securing Finland, this is where Finland starts a new strategy, which, literally leads to Russia getting encircled everywhere and falling. It's basically Finland just sending whoever, and you get it. And then spearheads, you get it. Crossing lakes over ice because it's winter. And eventually, the front looks like this, and then they make another offensive, which kicks them out. And with their offensive going well, the Romanian front falls, and then comes the fall of Moldavia. With Russia starting to realize all hope is lost, but not surrendering yet, looks like their punishment is going to be serious. With this being a fast invasion, take Leningrad, St. Petersburg, yeah. With a meetup with German forces and Hungarian forces and Turkish forces meet up, with Turkey now moving up and taking over the coast. But this offensive does slow a bit, with Germany making a huge offensive and managing to take Moscow. I think that's where Moscow is. It might be over to the east of it, but yeah. With Russia eventually surrendering after a few more losses. And then the rebellion of Ukraine starts, and you get the drift. They basically capitulate after this. Russia style, they capitulate, even though this is not Russia style, but yeah. With Romania getting annexed, and you get the point. With this being 4 years later since that invasion, they withdraw from there. And so now the treaty. As you can see, there's occupied lands. They made a puppet. Caucasia, Poland, Lithuania. Then we have Baltica and Belarus, which basically is tiny. And then we have Ukraine, which looks weird because the borders have been changed significantly. And then we have Finland just chilling as the northern superpower. And now, randomly and surprisingly, we have the annexation of South Germany. Okay, the countries are getting small, But are they really, or are they going to get bigger? And Russia is angry, and they elect a new leader. Because they do. Because as you know, when you lose a war, a new leader comes. And when you win a war, the same leader comes. So yeah, that's the tip of advice. And now, let's look. Romania's back. Although it's run by Moldova. But yeah, the Moldovan Russia. And there's Crimea was annexed by Turkey. Norway, Sweden is back. Netherlands expanded into France. And as you can tell, this was a big treaty. And that's all for today's video. Please like and subscribe. Wild Mapper out, but not until you subscribe. Bye, guys!